thinks they're a good listener, but if we're being honest, are we actually listening, or are we just waiting for our turn to talk?
Everyone thinks they're a good listener, but if we're actually honest with ourselves...
I just said that. And that tanks connection between people. If you've been in a conversation where you are physically there, but mentally you are miles away, this episode is for you.
Today's episode, we're going to cover 3 specific barriers that prevent you from listening to another human being and how to dismantle them so you can start hearing each other again.
So grab a pen and let's begin. Hey, babe, we're going to talk about listening.
I'm listening.
Yes, you are. It's such an important topic, and it's one that surprised me the most about myself. And I realized I, like most people, thought too highly of my listening skills because I didn't understand what listening was really about. That it's more than just taking in your words.
Or more than just waiting for your turn to talk. Because we think communication is just, I will send, then you will send. And the sending is the most important part, but we're never influencing each other that way. So let's talk about what are the things that prevent us from being able to actually take in another human being. The first barrier, and that is the skill gap or a will gap of listening. We think that listening is just the default setting, that if we're not talking, we're automatically in listening mode, but we're not. You know, we're taught how to read and write and speak, but we haven't learned the art of listening, of taking another human being in.
Yeah, you're right, because listening, it's like a muscle. It's something it's a skill we have to develop, and you develop any skill by focus, intent, and repetition on learning that particular skill. And we don't get that with listening. We don't get the praise, the encouragement. You know, when we think of school presentations, we give feedback to the person up there giving the presentation, but we don't give feedback to the people listening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know about you, but I know in school, I mean, I'd be off thinking about something else. And
I'd be looking out the playground. Yeah. We just think that if someone else is sending, then we get to tune out and cancel out and not stay engaged. Communication is just, I send, then you send, and I send, and you send, and that's all that communication is a whole bunch of sending.
Right, so then we're just waiting for our turn. When they say, I want to be heard, I don't want you to just listen to the words I'm saying. I want you to take all of me in. There's so much more happening. There's emotion, there's intent, there's an energy, and I want you to get the whole experience. There's history behind my story and my words. I have a story. I want you to try and get as much of me in when you're listening.
Totally. If we only listened with the same passion and desire that we want to be understood.
Oh, that's really good. Actually.
Thank you, Harriet Lerner.
Yeah, that's really, really good. So that's the skill gap. Mm-hmm. And then you talked about the will gap.
So the will gap is that focusing out on another human being, and that means being here and present, can be jarring. The center of attention. I won't give the attention to someone else because it feels like a loss of self.
Yeah, and you see that also, right, in the silence, when people just sit in silence. You see people clamoring to fill the room with just anything. I'll speak. I don't know what I'm saying yet. I'm hearing it for the first time too. I just want to fill the awkward silence in the room because I don't like this awkward, uncomfortable feeling, and I don't like what's coming up in me.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people have issue just being quiet without the TV on in the background or music always playing, but just being in silence is quite awkward because it's a foreign. All the stuff that's coming up inside is what I've been distracting from. Right. And if I don't have a distraction from that to cover over that, it's really uncomfortable. So therefore, I won't have the desire or the will to be present to listen.
Yeah. And what about also the sense of power too? Because in our society, we give more kudos to the speaker, and the person who's listening often is seen as, well, they're listening, they're quiet, they probably don't know what to say, they don't have much to say, they don't understand, they're not as intelligent. But the person who's speaking, well, they're the leader. They're the one who has something to say. They have the skill. They're charismatic.
If you are the speaker most of the time, you're not learning.
Oh, I love that. That's so true.
You're just
Right, 'cause
sharing your knowledge.
You're
But
not taking in.
if you're always sharing knowledge, you're exhausting your limited supply of knowledge.
So you're good at getting the attention of a room, but you're not great at getting the connection, true connection of the people.
Okay, so here's an exercise to help you just be more present in the here and now. And so with the other person, turn and face them. So, having nothing in between the two of you. So there's no coffee table, no table or desk or anything. So you sit basically feet to feet, knees to knees, heart to heart, eyes to eyes. And let's not fill the relational space with any words right now, but let's just breathe. And so the focus of this is just to take in Ellen. And my attention is going to be focusing out on her breathing. And I'm going to try and match my breathing to her breathing. So when she inhales, I'll inhale. And when she exhales, I'll exhale. Try that exercise. It can be challenging, somewhat scary, but once you do this a few times and you can breathe with someone, you'll recognize there is a lot of communication happening, even though words aren't flying back and forth.
And when you're doing the exercise, if you get uncomfortable, notice where your mind goes, because you're starting to notice the habits you have around listening. And so if you go off and think about something else, or you start to get focused on how uncomfortable you are, that's okay. Just
come back and focus on the other person's breathing, on how they're breathing, and try and match yours to meet theirs, because they're doing the same to you.
The next barrier is physical distractions. There's so much going on in our lives. There could be music going on in the background, and like today, our phones, there's dings going off and buzzes going off, and people have watches on their phones, so they're getting zapped all the time. And on most days, we can be pretty understanding about that, and it's fine because we do have lots we're getting done. But when we have real things coming up, things that are important to us, where there's emotion attached to whatever we're experiencing.
When we recognize that we're going to have an important conversation,
then we want undivided attention.
Yeah, no more multitasking.
And that's when we make listening take a back seat and we're doing something else, we're sending the message to that person that whatever I'm doing is primary. This is my main focus. You're secondary.
Mm-hmm. And so that cognitive requirement that pulls our attention means that we're never all in anything. We're always in distracted mode.
And then that other person is going to feel that.
Mm-hmm.
You can't fake that, because they know when they have all of you in, and they know when you're not all in, and that impacts their nervous system, and then therefore it impacts how connected they feel to you, but also just how well they feel prioritized, seen, and that desire to be understood is satisfied.
Yeah.
And even saying something to the person who is wanting your attention and is competing with all the other things going on. So if Jeff's wanting my attention and I'm busy doing something, just turning to him and say, "Hey, hon, I know you want to talk about this now. My focus is on getting this dinner ready. You're competing for my attention, and I want to give you the attention you want. I just can't give it to you now. So let me finish this, and then absolutely I will listen to you."
Yeah, so you'll be all in on that activity, and then be all in this activity. And on the other side, if you recognize that someone isn't all in with you, you can call them and say, "Listen, I'm kind of getting the sense that you're distracted. Can I get all your attention for a minute? I want to be the center of your world for a few minutes," and request that from them so that they put that aside, shut off their phone, and turn and make you their world for a second. The adage, the world stops for you in this moment.
Something you can do that actually helps the other person feel heard and helps you to pay attention is mirror back. Whatever they say to you, mirror it back to them. It'll help keep you engaged. This is going to help you pay attention, and it's going to ensure that they feel seen and understood.
So it might sound something like this. If I say, "I'm not feeling like I'm an important part in this moment."
So what I've heard you say is, you're not feeling like you're an important part in this moment. Did I get that?
Yeah.
Is there more?
Yes, a whole lot.
Well, I'm listening.
And so repeating back proves to the other person that you're taking them in, and make sure you go slow with this. But it also helps guide your attention so that you're focused on them, not on your response to them.
And it's not a test. It is about
No.
true understanding. If you punish the person for not getting you, then that changes the exchange. It's about having grace, understanding that listening is something that we're not all great at. But if the intent is there and the desire is there, stick with it. So
The third barrier is emotional distractions. And I think this is a little bit bigger, the most prominent one that prevents us from being here in the present moment to take someone else. And that is, I'm listening to you, but I'm listening to you through the filter of me, because it's all about my emotions, what my response is, and that all the internal noise that gets conjured up that gets in the way of really actually taking you in, because I'm more listening to me.
This is huge because as a society, we don't embrace emotions. We don't even want to talk about them, let alone know that we have them. As a matter of fact, we get messaging about, can you suppress that emotion?
Put that
Can you
away.
be less sensitive? Can you not feel? And yet we can't stop our emotions from happening. That is a natural part of our biological and physiological system, and a healthy part. So now when they're coming up, because we don't know how to have a relationship with our emotions, we don't know what to do with them.
That there's just no way that I can listen to your emotion and what's going on for you, because I'm locked in this world of me.
And again, the listening is actually not happening in two places now. I'm not listening to you, and I'm not listening to me. I'm distracted by me. Just because I'm distracted by my emotion is not the same that I'm listening to my emotion. And now two people aren't getting the attention that they need, and all this uncomfortableness is in the room, creating more and more energetic noise.
It's really key. It's hard to hear another person if we're trained not even to listen to ourselves. And so the ability to be present with someone else, that is dealing with the relationship with my emotions, my uncomfortableness, my anxiety, my anger, my sadness, and carving that interior landscape inside of me means that there's more space, that when you have anger, fear, sadness, anxiety, I'm okay with it.
And that means that your nervous system isn't going to get triggered by my emotions, by my story. You're going to be able to take me in, because once his emotions are or once his nervous system is triggered, there is no listening. Think of it as when the shoulders go up, they block the ears. No listening can happen. And so we need to learn how to regulate ourselves and regulate what we're feeling and stay in connection to be able to listen and take another person in.
So if you're feeling like your emotions are rising or the other person's emotions are rising, that might not be the time to exchange words. So communication just may not be happening because it would be blocked. And that's where taking a pause. That's a break so that you can go off and regulate, and maybe that's walk around the block, or go take a shower, or go make yourself a nice cup of tea, just so that you can breathe and down regulate the triggering, so that you have more and more of you being here present. And then that's when you have the conversation. A practical application here is the emotional parking lot. So when Ellen has something important to say and I have a reaction to what she has to say, I routinely will tell myself this mini moment saying, put that in the parking lot, I'll go second. Put that in the parking lot. And so whether I'm defensive or I'm angry or I also have something to say, I just give myself a little reassurance that, hey, I'm putting that in the emotional parking lot for a second. I'm not negating it. I'm just putting it off to the side. And right after her, I get to go. And that lets me know that I don't have to be dictated by emotions, but that my emotions I can just put to the side. It's not negating them. It's just to the side for a second while I focus on you. That's healthy, so that we're not living with emotions running the show here, but that we can put emotions off to the side to say, I have a skill that I can put this to the side and focus on you and your emotions just for a few minutes. And then I can come back and say, now I want to talk about my emotions.
The most important take home from today's video is that listening is healing. It's healing for you, and it's healing for the people you're in relationship with.
If you've enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to our channel. We drop a new one each week.
And if you know someone who can use this information, consider sharing it with them.
And check out this next video.
And thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.